Sawete, we back with chapter 10, Expressions of Time. So we got conversation level 1. Marie asks her friend how he spent his days. So we got Marie, Latin Maria, and her friend Joseph, Latin Josephus. So let's begin. Marie says, Joseph, how do you spend your day? Giuseppe, Commodore DM Agitas. I can do this one a little bit slower than the last chapter. Word for word, a lot of these. So you got Giuseppe, Joseph, talking to him. Commodore. That's like saying by what mode? By what mode? DM, basically your day, and agitas is how you spend. So you see, agitas, automatically you're saying you doing something, the second person on your verb. And when you're reading this, the first thing that your mind gonna look at is the verb for the most part. And you get used to reading Latin text. So by which mode do you spend your day, or how do you? Joseph, Josephus, I get up early in the morning and wash myself. Bene mane sergo et me lavo. Bene mane sergo. Basically, he translates this as good morning, I get up. But in the flow of conversation, these expressions in Latin, just like in English, it means how we translate it today. We can translate it like, I get up early in the morning. Sergo, I get up. You see, again, we got the verb with the O at the end on this one. The verb with the as at the end on this one. Second person, you doing something. First person, I doing something. I get up. I arise. It and me, myself, lavo, I wash. And again, the way I read that literally, not really how you gonna translate it in your head. You're gonna translate it mostly like this because you speak English today. And that's a good exercise too. When I do this, you can stop yourself, look at this side while we're looking at the other side, and look and see what's being said and how it's being said. So we all learning. I mess up. I look at my own videos and I see I mess up a bunch of times. But that's the point. We learn and we teach and we assist each other. So that's a perpetual learning, teaching, assisting. So we learn together, right? Maria says, at what time do you eat breakfast? Koto hora ye takalum sumis. At which hour, quarter order, takalum, breakfast, sumis, you consume or taken. In this case, since they're talking about breakfast, it translates in our mind as eat. So you see, ain't any wrong. You learning more when you do them like this. Look at yourself. And I also keep a translator or something like Wiktionary open, and I'll look up words when I got time, when I just learning them, and I'll see what he's saying. Not English, looking for Latin. I take up, I catch, I assume, I siege, I claim. You see, you don't always mean I eat, but when you learn them, you will know that a lot of terms can be used. It'll make it easy for you to communicate with the language, because you can use terms that could mean that. That's what we do is in English all the time without thinking. One of the many things I use in this case. And it's also in the second person instead of sumo. That I doing something, it's sumis, you eat. You eat. At what hour the breakfast you eat? Josephus, I eat breakfast at 8 a.m. or soon thereafter. Octawa hora matutina out mox diende itaculum sumo. Octawa hora, the 8th hour, hour 8th in the morning, matutina out or mox soon diende then itaculum breakfast sumo I consume or I eat. So I eat breakfast at 8 a.m. or soon thereafter. Maria, do you then play in your house or outdoors? Ludisne, diende and idibus an foris. Ludisne, we see ludo, I play. Ludis, you play. Ludisne, do you play. Diende, then, in idibus, your house, an, which is or in English, foris, which is outside. And that's interesting. In English we say forest, we're talking about the wilderness. We in the subconscious we be talking about the outdoors or outside. The word for forest in Latin is silva, but the word for outdoors is forest, foris. Do you play in your house or the outdoors? Josephus says, sometimes I play in my house and other times I play outdoors. Interdum in idibus, ludo, alias ludo foris. Interdum, sometimes in idibus, my house, ludo I play, alias, at other times, ludo I play, foris, outdoors. And in English we say alias, right? And we say that's the alias, that's the other thing, or the other name, right? That's a Latin word that means the other. And you see how that's in our law. He creeping our law, English law, as an alias. So you knowing that in Latin, you know the origin of these terms, you can better communicate English. That's why lawyers become presidents, because they understand the English language to that point where they can navigate this realm easily. So wherever they meet, people think they're shrewd and stuff like that, but they just know how to deal with the situation at hand, because we're dealing with words. Conversation rules it all. And they know how to deal with that between in the English speaking realm. They can succeed at things better off. Anyway, Maria says, do you always play at home? Lo Disney sempre dormi. And Disney again, do you play? Sempre, always, and dormi. Domus means house. Dormi is saying at home. Another conjugation. Yosepus, sometimes I spend the morning at my friend's house. I don't do the same thing every day. Nom nunquam tempus matutinum apud amicum agito, non idem quotidie facio. So non nunquam, sometimes, tempus matutinum, sometimes in the morning, apud with amicum, my friends, agito, I sometimes spend time with my friend in the morning. Non idem quotidie facio. So we can say that like non facio. My brain say non facio idem quotidie, because he say I don't do the same every day. Non facio, I don't do idem, the same things. Idem is like id in English. When we write certain things, we say id. That's what that is, idem. You can sometimes people say ditto, so that means sometimes. And quotidie, we see from the last chapter, means daily. So I don't do the same thing every day. Maria, at what time do you eat lunch? Quarto hora prandium sumis. Joseph will say, generally at noon or 1 p.m. It varies from day to day. Perumque meridie out prima hora post meridium variat in dies. Perumque generally meridie at noon, out, or prima hora, the first hour, post meridium, PM. And again, we know that's what PM really means. And we see in English, we say PM. They do tell us at a very young age what that means, but they don't explain to you. That's just a Latin term that means past the meridium. Where we are in dies from day to day varies. It varies. Where we at in dies, in the days. Maria, what do you do in the afternoon? Do your father still take you to the forum? Qui facis post meridie parter te ad hoc in forum ducit. Qui facis, what do you do post meridie and noon? Pater, father, do your father take you, do your father, or you're not looking at the verb, just lead you. But I don't read this way. I see him say take you, but again, this like duke, like a leader, this word duke, if you look that up. And in real life, we don't say lead. I gonna take you to the store. We don't say I lead you. So some people might say lead you, but it can mean take you. So do your father stow ad hoc take you to the forum? Eusebius, whenever my father has time, he takes me to the forum. Utkumque, and in this chapter he gives you terms like whenever, sometimes, generally, these extra terms. Utcumque tempus patries me in forum ducit. Utcumque whenever tempus for time patries of the father, or of the father. So basically we can translate that as whenever the father has time. Me and myself and forum duke, he leads. He takes me in the forum, to the forum. Maria, just what do you do in the forum? Quid nam in foro facitis. Josephus, as soon as we get to the forum, we visit the new shops there. Cum primum in forum ferenimus, tabernas novas ibi visitamus. Cum primum, as soon as you're like saying firstly, in forum prevenimus, so basically when we go to the forum. Tabernas novas, the new shops, ibi, there, visitamus, we visit. Remember the moose at the end of these showing me that we're saying we do something, and that's first person plural grammatically. Later on in this book he will get real deep, or she can get real deep in grammatics, parsing sentences and stuff like that. You're already doing some. Maria, what do you do in the shops? Quid in tabernis facitis. Josephus, we shop. My father often buys me a little gift. Hold on. Okay. Obsinamus. Pater mihi monusculum saepe emit. Obsinamus. We partake or shop. Pater, father, mihi, to me. Monusculum, a little. Saepe, often buys. So in this context we see his father often buys him a little gift. Monusculum. Maria, do your father take you to the farm every day? Pater te in forum quotidie ducit. Josephus, not every day. Besides, these days my father is very busy. Now quotidie praeteria his temporibus pater is occupatissimus. Very busy. Occupatissimus. Pater is occupatissimus. Father is occupatissimus. Temporibus, temporarily. His temporibus, like saying these days. At this time. Praeteria, besides. Non quotidie, because we know not daily. Maria, in that case, how do you spend? And then you know the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, when they formed this language, the ancient grammarians doing their magic, of course, they could have write this in any way, forward, backwards, just like the other ancient Semitic tongues is backwards. In English and other Romance languages will be considered forwards. The ancient ones could have read it anyway. They have more brain intelligence. And in reality, because the words create the reality. But anyway, In that case, how do you spend the afternoon? Eu caso comodo tempus post meridianum agitas. Eu caso, here you see, in your case, in his case, in this case, you know, casu, sound like case, so you should know that's where that come from. And commodore again, and why, what's more, or how do you do something? Tempus, time, post meridium, post meridianum, in the afternoon, agitas, you Spain. Josephus, I generally spend the afternoon with my friends. Ego perumque tempus post meridianum cum amicis agito. Maria, what do you do in the evening after dinner? Qui vesperi post cenam facis. Josephus, I do some chores. Then I have a time, and if I have time, I read a book till I go to sleep. Aliqua pensa facio, diende si tempus mi es, librum lego donec dormitum eo. Aliqua pensa facio, I do chores. On the other hand, chores I do. Diende, then, and that's a word you can remember easily if an English speaker, because he sound like you saying then, diende, with another syllable in it. Si of tipis me, yes, times to me. Librum lego, a book I read. Donec dormitum, to sleep. Eo, I go. I read a book until donec, I go to sleep. Level 2, I will go faster. I ain't gonna parse a lot of these. I'll let you do your own. Coach interviews a new athlete. Executor, the coach, and the athlete. Atleta, the coach. Hello, are you the new athlete? Salve, tu ne atleta nos es? So, hello, salve. Tu ne, are you atleta, athlete nos? The new es is. Atleta, sum. Yes, I am. Sum. Executator, when did you arrive at the gym? Quando ad gymnasium prevenisti? Atleta, a little while ago. Am I late? Rarely have I come late. Atleta, Paolo ante serone veni. And parle is like a little, ante, ago. Serone, so late, when did I come? And serone got many other meanings, you can look that up. But again, when you reading this in that way, like conversational, because I think twice of what Severoni means in this context, because I read in the story, a conversation between two people, and we talking about a coach talking to an athlete. He talking about, did you come late and stuff. So executator, no, indeed, you're on time, but all the other athletes are already here. How often do you exercise? Non venisti quidem tempori, sed alii atletae omnes iam assunt, quotiens te execes. think that one easy to parse. Atleta. To tell the truth daily, morning, noon, and night. Utwera dicam quotidie mane meridie noctu. Executator. How often do you jump rope? Quotiens and funem salis. Atleta. At least twice a day. Sautem bis in die. And again, at the end of the vocabulary section, every chapter, like I think I read this book once before in the past, some of it, but every chapter I go through, I literally going to do a gap together. And when I get to the vocabulary section, a couple of those words I always say, oh yeah, that's what that means, because I read it in the story, and then we get to the end, I say, okay, that's why they say that version of the word. I say that in my subconscious when I read that. I just reminded myself throughout the thing that I teach, and so I gotta keep going. But let's continue. Atleta or executator before noon or in the afternoon. Ante meridiem and post meridiem. Atleta, sometimes before noon, sometimes in the afternoon, and it varies. Modo ante meridiem, modo post meridiem. Variat. Executator, how long do you jump rope? Quam deu ad funem salis. Atleta, at least for half an hour. Saltem semihoram. Executator, when did you last jog? Quando novissime tolutim crosita visti. Crosita visti, changing tolitim crosita visti, saying when did you last jog with novissime. So you change the verb based off the grammar in that sentence. And atleta says the day before yesterday and yesterday. Nudius tertius et heri. Executator, are you going to jog today? Hodiene, and I like how he even use hodie, today, and then add the ne to make it a sentence word that you already know the speaker who listening to, you know you about to ask a sentence dealing with the term today. So are you going today? That's what I said it's going to say to you. Hodiene tolitem crositabis. Are you going to jog today? Atleta, yes, I intend to jog a little later. Ita, mihi in animo est tolutim crositare postea aliquanto. And another thing he doing, I like, he showing you all the different ways you might run into how different authors throughout the times might write the sentences. He ain't sticking to one way. But if you read books, you're going to start to see that the author write one way. He might have all his verbs at the end. Stuff like that. The executator. In my opinion, you will be an outstanding athlete. Setentia mea, tu eris atleta praestans. will be two Eddies. Atleta, athlete, price stats, outstanding. You see, sentence, yeah, my sentence. Because that's what opinion is, a statement. A traveler is about to take a bus trip to Florida. So we got the Viator, the traveler, and Amicus, the friend. Level 3. So the Viator. I like to travel from North Carolina to Florida. Vueling facere a settentrionale Carolina in Florida. And I have to make myself not speak in English when I see that, because I always see that word in English by subconscious. Carolina. It's a land kingdom anyway. Just like Florida. We just say these things different these days. But William, I like iter to travel. Facere, basically iter facere to travel a septentrionale North Carolina in Florida to Florida. And he basically talking about directions, going to places, in places. You're gonna start to see the word in and add these pronouns, not pronouns. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. I might go to that chapter before we get there, because they explain a lot and get to these faster while going through the grammar myself. Anyway, let's continue. Amicus, the friend, says, what is your destination? Quis tibi locus destinatus? Viator, my destination is Miami. Locus destinatus mi es Miami. Amicus, do you have your fare today? Do you have your fare ready? Habesne vecturam impromptu. And habesne, do you have vecturam, your fare impromptu, ready, promptly, prompt. Viator, here's the fare. When does the bus depart? Ecce vecturam, quando rida longa discedit. And in this one, we already see the verb discedit, departs. Quando, when, but the bus, I don't think we had buses in those days, but we had a long ride, a carriage, long ride alonga. So that's a bus, a long ride. And ecce is like look or behold. So we can translate that in our time like here's, Amicus, soon, in fact, at 8 o'clock. Mox, soon. Praefecto secunda hora. And you see right here, a different way, like I've been saying earlier, more than one way is you can tell the time. You can say the 8th hour. Octava, like we said last time, but this time it's the 2nd hour, because 7 o'clock is the first hour, 7 a.m. first hour of the day. 8 o'clock will be segunda hora, the second hour. Perfecto and fac. Realtor, fine. I prefer to travel by day rather than at night. Bene, interdiu magis quam noctu eter facere praefero. Amicus, how far do you want to go on the first day? Cousque vis ire primo die. And vis is do you want, right? That word is a word that I'll look up and just go through the page on that, because it'll help you a lot. You'll see that word a lot in many forms. And you see English take it as, borrow it as force, power, might, because they know, being a child of the language, strength, force, vigor. Words got meanings, and that's the breakdown, like we talk about in the other videos. Violent, violation, all those words come from that. Aggression, you see the sentiments. Sentiments. But so I'm gonna point that out. Weator, I'd like to arrive in South Carolina tomorrow by nightfall if possible. Welim pervenere and meridionalem Carolinam cras sub noctem si fiere potes. Amicus, where will you spend the night? Ubi per noctabis. And in Latin we see forms of sentence that English really, we don't really think about a lot, but it's important because we'll get people mixed up a lot. You think about assumptions, and it was very clear when we said things in the old tongues, where we saying possibilities, something that when will you do, us putting things off in a fantasy in the future in our head, because it's something that we speaking of happening now, that I saying I'm touching this book, I'm doing something at the present. So that's what this chapter really teaching, past, present, future. Say Viator, probably in some motel or other. Probabiliter en nescio co derisorio vehiculario. Say probabiliter, probably en nescio some other, co derisorio, different, vehiculario, motel. Basically saying, or in some other. Nescio is like saying don't know. Don't know, you don't have to really put that in there, because that goes without saying. You're saying you're probably in some motel or the other. You ain't sure, right? Amicus, how long will you stay there? Quam diu ibi manibus. Viator, I don't want to waste a lot of time there. Nolo equidem multum temporis ibi perdere. Amicus, how will you spend the evening? Quomodo vesperam agis. Viator, immediately after dinner I will take a shower and then I will go right to sleep. Statim post cenam balneo pluvio utar et diende recte ibo dormitum. So statim, immediately. Post cenam, after dinner. Balneo, shower, I'll take. Pluvio, balneo, pluvio. Utar, so basically I'll take a shower. Et diende, and then recte, right. Ibo, I'll go dormitum, to sleep. Amicus, at what time do you want to leave from there? Quarto hora ilic discedere cupis. 1 hour ilic, it's like saying there, or like it's another form of there. If you go look at it, it's a charge that I don't even recommend even trying to learn, because it will be a waste. You're better off learning through seeing it a lot in context. When I see that, it's not, I know automatically which one that it means. He, she, it, yonder, that, over there. You see, different versions. The context going to tell you which version of these words is. They say ad proximam. Basically from proximally. Noctem, night. From the proximity night. The immediately out of following. Spero, I hope. Nos, we, in meridionali Georgia futuros esse. I don't even think I read that one yet. Immediately after breakfast, starting post ientaculum, by the following night ad proximam noctem spero nos in, I hope that, meridionali, the afternoon, Georgia, Georgia, futuros esse, I'll be, basically in the future I'll be. So I hope I'll be in meridionali, southern, septentrionali, northern, north. So time is based off geometry. We should know that. We're saying a meridian. Noon. So amicus. Gee, that's a very long stretch. Istud mer Hercule es patium longissimum. Istud. Gee, me Hercule. S. I don't even know why I even put me Herculean. It's like saying by strength. Espatium very longissimum. Scratch very. That's a very long stretch. And it's expressions. So, we're taking it for, we're using these terms to make expressions. So if we arrive there before time, I'll be able to relax a bit. Si illuc ante tempus pervenerimus, potero me remittere polisper. Amicus, how long do you want to stay there? Quam Dio vis ibi manere. Viator, I intend to leave early in the morning on the next day. If I eat lunch in northern Florida, I will arrive at our destination by nightfall. And before we get to Latin, we can say this in many different ways. All this we can break down differently. So I go in the day after tomorrow, money. Day after tomorrow, that's when. You know, say things like I intend to leave early in the morning on the next day. Tomorrow morning. So mihi en animo es bene mane posridie di scedere. Si meridie en septentrionali Florida prandero locum destinatum sub noctem perveniam. So the vocabulary that will be done. The vocabulary. Ago. Yeah, that's what it means. The prepositions. Prepositive. Prepositive. Ab hic. Examples. 10 years ago. Ab hic decum annus. A short while ago. Paulo ante. How long ago? Quam pridem. Long ago. Yadudem. Yam pridem. Not so long ago. How ita pridem. Some time ago. Pridem dudem. After. Postquam. And post different situation. Post plus the accusative version of the word you're using. After this, post hoc. Afternoon. Tempus. Post meridianum. In the afternoon. Post meridie. Post meridium. Or post meridium. Afterwards, post hoc. Again and again, etiam aqua etiam, or identidem. Always, semper. And I like words like this because you learn them faster. You see them often, and you know them. A lot of these words right here you won't learn quicker. Around, cerca, and that's what we get. And we say a calendar, and we say sometime around. You say cerca in English. Or cerciter plus the accusative, de plus the ablative. Around midnight, de media nocte. Around noon, cerciter meridium. As long as, quam diu, as soon as possible, quam primum, as yet, ad hoc, at, so at least, utique, at most, summum, at once, continuo, or momento, before, antequam, or priusquam, before, antea, or ante, before daylight, ante lucem, before long, propedium, before now, ante hoc. Beginning, principium, at the beginning of the year, principio anni, briefly, sumati team. Let me set up. By, not later than, ad plus the accusative, by January, ad mensem unarium, Januarium. By now, yam. By the 6th hour, ad sextam horam, Canada, fasti, calendarium, century, cyclum, clock, horologium, dark after dark, de nocte, in the dark, de nocte, darkness, tenebrae, date, dies, by what date, quam ad diem, de, dies, a day. So for example, twice a day, bis in die, any day now, prope diem, by day, inter diu, day and night, et dies et noctes, every day, quotidie, or you can say in singulos dies, or that's like by single days, from day to day, in dies, from that day on. And a lot of these expressions we use all the time without thinking about it. Nuper quidem, one day, on a certain day in the past. Quodam die, on the day before he departed. Predie quam abiret, on the day before the idus. Prede idus, on the following day. Postero die, on the day before the calends of March. Ante diem quartum calendas martias. In this term calendas, we can see the Gaetulian Punic influence using the K's. The Moorish Latin mostly use K's, like Carthago, Carthage. The day after, postridie, the day after that, postridie eius, die, the day after tomorrow, perendie, the day before, predie, so late in the day, ad multum diem, ad multum diem, 2 days after that, postiem tertium eius diei, these days, his temporibus, dawn, at dawn, prima luce, the first light, before dawn, ante lucro, daybreak, at daybreak, prima luce, or you say diluculo, till daybreak, in primam lucem, or usque diluculum, during, inter, ab extremo, and that's like saying to the extreme, toward the end of his life, tempore extremo, evening, vesper, in the early evening, prima vespera, in the evening, vesperi, last evening, heri vesperi, this evening, hodie vesperi, late, very late in the evening, per vesperi, ever, unquam, every day, quotidie. Finally, ad extremum, or you can say tandem. First, primo, in a series followed by diende, postremo. So we say primum at first, and then we'll say diende, then. Now we talk when we tell the story. First he did this, and then he did that, and then after that, finally he did that. That's what we say postremo. Finally, first of all, primum omnium. For the first time, primo, for during a certain period expressed by the accusative. For example, for 10 days, decem dies, and the word 10 is an accusative, dies also. That's what we mean by expressed by the accusative. To denote the appointment of definite time is in plus the accusative, which would be the example. He invited her to dinner for the following day. Yam ad kena mukawit in posterum diem. It's an accusative. Again, from preposition ab or de or ex with the ablative. From day to day, diem de die. Or you can say diem ex die, or en singulos dies. From sunrise till late in the day, ab sole orto in multum diei. From that day to this, ex ea die ad hanc diem. From the time when, ex quo, from the very beginning, jam inde a principio, from this or that time forward, ex hoc or ex illo tempore, future, futura, in the future, in posterum. And that's what we Constitution say, the prosperity. Half hour, semihora, or dimidium, horai. Hereafter, post hoc, here and now, de praesentiarum, de praesentiarum, hour, hora, a half hour, semi-hora, an hour and a half, sesquihora, a quarter of an hour, quadrans horae, every hour, singulis horis, from hour to hour, in horas, 3/4 of an hour, quadrans horae, to last a few hours, in paucas horas durare, hourly, in horas, how long, quam diu, how long ago, Quam predem or quam dudum. How often? Quotiens. How soon? Quam mox. Immediately. Starting or continuo. Continuo. Just. Modo. Just as. Cum maxime. Just as I was writing. Cum haec maxime scriberem. Just before. Basically an event. Sub plus the accusative of that word, like just in time. Temporary. So I ain't like that, but that's how you say just in time. Just then. Tunc maxime. Just the other day. Modo. Just when. Cum maxime. Last. Adjective used where English using an adjective. Novissimus. Cicero spoke last. Cicero novissimus locutus est. Last night. Proxima nocte. Late. Cerus. Late. Adjective. Cero. All too late. And momiam. Cero. Too late. Serious. Very late. Serissime. So we're serious. Lately. Nuper. Later. Postea. A little later. Postea aliquanto. To postpone till later. Deferro. In aliu tempus. Latest. Perhaps tomorrow, at latest the day after that. Fortasse cras. Sumum perendie. Least. At least. Saltem. Long. Diu. How long? Quam diu. How much longer? Quam diu etiam. Long ago. Praedem. Long after or before. Multo post or multo ante. Long diutius. Too long. Diutius or nemium diu. Meanwhile. Interim. Midnight. Media nox. Around midnight. Media cerciter nocte. At midnight. Media nocte. Minute. Minuta. Any minute. Momento temporis. The minute I saw you. Extemplo. Extemplo ubi ego te vidi. This minute. Right now. Yam. That's like just saying now. Yam. Wait a minute. Expecta Paulum. Or you say mani doom. Mani palisper. Morning. Tempus. Or tempus matutinum. Early in the morning. Bene mane or multo mane. From morning till evening. A mane usque ad vesperam. Alright, hold on again. This might be a long chapter, but again, don't worry about that. You're in a race with no time. You just perpetually practicing by reading. Reading and writing this out. Writing can help you learn 10 times faster. Reading and writing is brain exercise. So just read it. Go try to force yourself to learn. That goes with almost anything. Practice make perfect. So let's begin. In the morning, mane. The next morning, mane postridie. This morning, hodie mane. Nick, like in the nick of time. In ipso articulo temporis. Night is nox in Latin. At night, noctu. At this time of night, hoc noctis. By night, noctu. Every night, per singulas noctis. Last night, proxima nocte, or hoc nocte. Night after night, per singulas noctis. On the following night, proxima nocte. On the night before last, superior nocte. Till late at night, ad mutam noctem. Nightfall, just before nightfall, sub noctem. Till nightfall, usque ad noctem. Never, numquam, never yet, non dum. No longer, non diutius. Noon, meridies. At noon, meridie. Not yet, non dum. Now, nunc, denoting emphasis and urgency. So that's what that version of now is, nunc. Yam is the version of you again saying now. Even now, yam nunc. Just now, like a moment ago, modo. Now and then, sub inde non nunquam, or aliquando. Now at last, nunc tandem. Now, and then whatever else you got to say, and then you say now again. Now we talk. Then you say, just say mortal, and then say mortal again. Now that, posteaquam, that's the indicative. Right now, which is immediately, yam. 10 years from now, decam annus. Nowadays, hodie, nunc, or nunc. Occasion, like for the occasion, in tempus. Occasionally, sub inde. O'clock, like at 2 o'clock. Hora secunda. Once, on a certain occasion. Quodam die, one time. Simul, at once. Illico statium, simultaneously. Simul, once or twice. Simul aquae iterum, once upon a time. Olim, past, or saying in the past. Ante hoc, period. Spatium, point, at this point in time. Hoc loco, previously. Ante hoc, or Prius, like a Prius of the car. Literally all the cars using Latin terms, Volvo, and all those other terms. Most of them, I can't think of it else. But rarely, raro. right from the start. En principio ilico, right now. Nunc jam, second, secunda, since, ut. Someday, aliquando, aliquadie, or aliquadie. Sometimes, aliquando. Sometimes, non nunquam, or interdum. Like we're saying, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that. It's like that. So alias, then we say thing one thing, then alias again, or modo and interdum, or interdum and interdum. Soon is mox, and a minute now again yam. As soon as cum primum, and again yam is one of those terms you're gonna learn fast. And I like reiterate. I like how they reiterate the same things, because the same expressions for many different things, just like in English. As soon as, cum primum, plus its practice. As soon as possible, quam primum, soon thereafter, mox diende, too soon, nimium quito, sooner or later, serius ocius, or serius aut quitius, then, saying at that time, tum, next, diende, just then, tunc maxime, then and there, illico, to, usque ad, then accusative, n plus the accusative, so now the way, till the month of July, in mensem Iulium, usque ad Ulium, ad mensem Ulium. Iulium. Time, tempus. Ahead of time, ante tempus. A long time already. Jam dudum. Example, I've been here a long time already. Jam dudum adsum. Around the time, sub tempus. At about the same time, sub idem tempus. At another time, alias, at one time, or not at another. At one time you did this, and at another time you did this. Alias, and then alias. At that time, and I explaining that like that every time for people who ain't looking, but they listening. At that time, ad id temporis. At the right time, tempestive. At the time when cua tempestate. At the wrong time, intempestive. At times, interdum. At very short time ago, a very short time ago. Modo, before time, like prematurely. Ante tempus, literally before time. For a long time. Jam diu, for a short time. Brevi tempore. For the first time. Primum. For the last time. Extremum. For the time being. In tempus. From time to time. Sub inde. I have no time. Tempus non est mihi. In a short time. In brevi spatio. In good time. And plenty of time. mature, in the course of time. Tempore, it is high time for you to. Tempus maxime is ut to, and whatever you're trying to say, it is high time for you to do. Long ago, yam dudu, make up for lost time. Que sata tempora corrigo, not to have the time to. Otium non habere, once upon a time. Olim, on time. Tempore, some time ago. Dudum, or predem, there was a time when. Fuit, or tempus cum, you can say tempus or not, to ask what time it is. Horas inquirere, like saying inquiring. To postpone to another time. Differe in aliu tempus, to ask the time. Quaere horas, to see what time it is. Horas in spicere, to spend time. Tempus sumere, or tempus agere, or tempus agitare, to spend time. Or just saying agitare, saying to spend time. Another way. So, to waste time. Tempus perdere, what time is it? Quota hores. Quote horas, you can say quote hores or quote horai sunt, to while away the time. Tempus follow, times, use numeral adjectives. 10 times. Decies, no more than 3 times. Terra nec amplius, today. Hodie, before today. Ante hunc diem, starting today. Ex hoc die, tomorrow. Cras, and that's where we get the word again, procrastinate, from. Pro, for. Cras, we say we plan for tomorrow, plan off stopping for tomorrow. We procrastinate, we doing an action, plan off stopping for tomorrow. So day after tomorrow, perendie, tomorrow morning. Cras mani, until tomorrow. In crastinum, tonight. Hac nocte, twilight. Crepusculum, at twilight. Crepusculo, until. Donec, as a preposition. Usque ad, up till now. Ante hac, when. Cum, e ubi, or ut, as an interrogative. Quando, whenever. Quandocunque, or utcunque. Quotiens, while, a little while before. Paulo ante, after a little while. Paulo post, a short while. Paulo ante. While, doom. While, to while away the time. Tempus follow. Year is annus, every year. Quotanis, the following year, proximus annus, the previous year, superior annus, at the beginning of the year, in eunte anno, or principio anni, at the end of the year, ex eunte anno, 100 years from now, ad centum annos, yesterday, Henry, the day after yesterday, nudius tertius, nudius tertius. And the adjective also written as one word, yesterday morning, Harry Mane. So that's it for this chapter. We'll see you in chapter 11. Walete.